I want to give you a couple of prefatory notes before I begin today's disquisition of basically, I guess the subtext is limited hangout, why bother? I was listening to one of my favorite shows is Breaking Points with Sagar, I'm pronouncing his name correctly, I'm sure, Sagar Rangetti and Crystal Ball. And Sagar was talking about this story that I have here, which is very interesting. And this is a story involving, and I think the New York Post has one that says, chilling new video captures suspected Saudi spy filming U.S. Capitol, national monuments before 9/11. And somehow this is supposed to provide you with some indication that Saudi Arabia was involved in this. Is that it? Is that the take? Is that what this is about? So I was watching Sagar, who I think is very, very good. He was 9 years old on September the 11th. Now that's okay. I wasn't around during World War II, and I can comment on that. Or I wasn't around during the Civil War. In fact, nobody was around during the Civil War, so you don't have to be there. But this is from somebody who, I'm just telling you, I was. It's very rare that you meet somebody who was at Appomattox or at Antietam during the Civil War on that day at the battle site. So I was here, my wife was here, we were here on that dread Tuesday morning, and as I've told you, the whole issue, and I'm gonna, because we have to fear algorithms for reasons I don't understand. We're gonna call it as the event. The event that occurred on the 11th day of the 9th month, we're going to call it the event, okay? Just for purposes of this. And what he probably knows, and you probably know, and I want to tell you a couple of things here, which is critical, and that's called the limited hangout. This is a concept that is so critical for you to understand and grasp. There isn't a day that goes by when I don't see it. A limited hangout is, it's called a partial hangout, all different forms. It's a theory, it's a tactic, it's a kind of a kata that's used in various in media, in politics, information, intel. It's been called perception management. I love that one. Reality propaganda, public relations, from Bernays to whomever. But it's fascinating, and it works like this. And the CIA's always talked about this. A limited hangout is part of, I guess, intel jargon, or part of the argot or argo, the lexicon, for a means used by those who are clandestine. When something has been exposed, when secrecy has been violated or breached, and they can no longer rely on some story, either some official story, official narrative, some phony cover, whatever it is. If they can't rely on that anymore, they will then shift to the following. They will admit either volunteering it, or they'll pretend it was exposed, or they're saying, okay, we'll show you this. We didn't want to show you this before, but okay, we'll show you this one. All right, you caught us. You caught us. We're going to show you the cards. They will show some part of truth, something that happened, while hiding and withholding the truth, the actual real story. And the public is so mesmerized, so intrigued, so, oh my God, by this new information, by this new data, that it never thinks about going further. It figures that's it. You know, recently in the case of UFOs, they said, okay, the Air Force, all right, we'll show you the Tic Tac video, and they'll make you FOIA request. Through FOIA, we got to the Freedom of Information Act. We got to the bottom of this. And we've got it. Here is the Tic Tac video. Oh, my God, look, UFOs. Well, maybe not. But doggone it, you got us. We can't hide this one anymore. No. Okay, we're all done with that UFO talk. Great. Have a nice day. Or they'll show you the gimbal one. Remember that one? Oh, look at that one, the gimbal. Oh my God, Roswell, here we come. Okay, America. You caught us. Okay, you got, Bob Lazar, why you? Okay, Rogan, you really got to the bottom of that one. Whew. Okay, now can we put this to bed? Yeah, great. And it's nothing. It means nothing. And it's been used by Intel since forever. This particular means of issue perception, presentation, and the like, has become popularized in corporate and political spheres because a lot of the people in Intel go into that as well. It's been used and described as releasing a quantum or a bit of, or a trove or a tranche of sensitive information or data mixed with falsities, lies, exaggerations, falsehoods, and the like, which will lead to the entire thing being found false, or the release of information with a central kernel of falsehoods in the hope that if people went to pursue it, it could backfire and actually end up in the validity of the falsehoods. You see, for example, this, they love to let you think like, we got to the bottom of this. 9/11. Oops. I mean, the 11th day of the 9th month. We got to the bottom of this one. Because it's Saudi Arabia. What about Saudi Arabia? There's a guy taking pictures. Well, what about it? He's taking pictures. What about it? Sagar? What? What about it? He's taking pictures. A lot of people take pictures. Remember the dancing Israelis? Remember that one? Of course you do. It doesn't tell you anything. It makes you think like, aha. There's no aha. Listen, Sagar, my friend, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I think I am. Take it from me. Your old Uncle Lenny. Listen to me. Let it go. America doesn't care. The rest of the world cares. Europe cares. Europe cares about this like you can't believe. They're insatiable. Not us, though. You'll never hear anything about it on news. Never on Fox. By the way, notice the particular thumbnail. There's 3 beams. 3. Well, why is it 3? What's the third beam? What does it recognize? What does it represent? Put that in the comment section. What does the third beam represent? See, Sagar, if you want to get into the real nuts and bolts of this, you got to know where to look. You can't be thrown off course with these limited hangouts. Take the JFK conspiracy. Whenever you have a lot of moving parts, you need somebody to zero in right away. We have to get into things like, to stop wasting time, where we need to have people talk about stuff like forensic evidence. But what happens is you will learn something. Somebody will go on, I don't know, some show like Joe. I mean, I love Joe Rogan, but for example, they'll go on and they'll say like, Alan Dulles was responsible when he was in the Warren Commission, and Alan Dulles and his brother were part of the deep state, and then you'll say, oh, that's weird. That has nothing to do with this. That's after the fact. How about Alan Dulles before Dallas? Oh, yeah. Because nobody knows critical thinking. What does that have to do with anything? But you'll throw things off. For example, J. Edgar Hoover, Mac Wallace, LBJ, he wanted to get off the gold. No, the silver certificate. I mean, they'll throw these things at you. Well, the reason why is because JFK said that he was going to smash the CIA into 1,000 pieces. Okay, what does that tell you? Well, that's good for motive. You want to hear Robert Blakey talk about? Oh, he's a great. By the way, there's limited hangout and misdirection. Robert Blakey is great at throwing you off. He's the architect of RICO. He says, "Oh, this was organized crime. You think Carlos Marcello could redirect parade routes? Come on." When it comes to that, you got to look at kind of boring stuff, like the windshield of the limousine and everything like that. Recently, I saw my good friend Richard Gage on Valuetainment with Patrick Ben-David, which is the show where you think you're learning something. You think you are. It has all of the trappings, and Patrick, who I really respect a lot, can say absolutely nothing and act as though he's asking a question that's so profound when it's really not. Sammy the Bull Gravano, were you, as a child, take me back to Sammy, you're kidding me, right? What was that? Well, I saw somebody ask that question. So Patrick is good at asking things. It sounds good, but it's for all practical purposes unimportant. But he got on Richard Gage, and they're talking about things like iron spheres and thermite and everything, and it just went. And that's Richard's problem, because he still thinks people understand him. So to my good friend, I never met you, but I think I know you, Sagar and Patrick and others, move on the subject. Just don't. For those of us who were red-pilled, and for those of us who remember that day, please don't insult our intelligence with stuff like this. And by the way, when we're at it as well, don't go into ufological stories with gimbals and tic tacs. Tucker does that too. Tucker, God love him, he never really wants to land on the subject. He doesn't really want to take it seriously. Nobody looks at UFOs as a forensic policeman or detective would. They're not interested in that. They don't care about this. They don't care about it. I don't know why. They simply just don't care. They want to talk kind of around it. That's all. So, if ever you want to hear what really was going on, you're not going to ever see it on this particular wonderful platform. Believe me when I tell you that. Oh, and who was it? Candace Owens recently said, when I was it junior high or something? I mean, not that you have to be 40 years old at the time to consequence. Anyway, but she's looking at it kind of, whimsically and wistfully. I was a kid, and I saw this show called Loose Change. Dylan Avery, remember that? Yeah, it's very important. And I thought, wow. Again, here's the subject, and I'm a bee, and I'm just kind of floating around it. I'm not really landing on anything, but I'm saying, oh, it's a flower. That's interesting. Oh, I like that. I got some pollen there, yeah. And then it takes off. That's what they do. They don't land on it. They don't land on the subject. They talk about it. They give you the impression that we're going to be talking about it. No, they're not talking about it. They have not the slightest. And not only that, they don't even know where to start. There's so many moving parts to it. Where do you go? It all comes down to forensics. It all comes down to destroying the narrative. And it all comes down to recognizing the limited hangout. And again, one more time, what's the third beam? Put it in your answer in the comment section. What's the third beam? What does it denote? That's all. Thanks for watching. You know what I'm saying, don't you? I think you do. Please follow me. Please subscribe to the channel. And whatever you do, as we always do, answer the question. Comment as you see fit.